All right, let's jump into the future, shall we? Today, we're diving deep into augmented reality.
Ooh, AR. Love it.
I bet you do. You've probably heard of AR, right? Pokemon Go, furniture apps, those virtual makeup try-ons. That's all AR.
Yep, AR's everywhere these days.
But we're going deeper today. We've got this research paper, Research of Augmented Reality, based on Unity3D, gets into the nuts and bolts of the tech, especially with this game development tool called Unity3D. And lucky for us, we've got a expert speaker title brief description here to break it down for us.
Happy to be here. AR it's more than just a flashy gimmick. It's becoming a part of our daily lives, and this paper helps us see how.
For those who might be new to all this, can you give us a clear definition of what AR actually is?
Of course. The research paper defines AR as the seamless integration of real-world and virtual world information. Basically, AR takes computer-generated images, sounds, you name it, and overlays it onto our real-world experiences, like blending the digital and physical together.
Okay, so it's more than just what we see. AR can engage other senses too.
You got it. The paper really stresses how AR wants to create this richer, more immersive experience, and to do that, it engages multiple senses. To make it happen, AR systems have three core things going on. They combine real and virtual information, they allow for real-time interaction, and they accurately place virtual objects in 3D space.
Real-time interaction, huh? So it's not just sitting back and watching, we're talking about manipulating things in this augmented world.
Exactly. That's part of what makes AR so interesting. Now, this research paper, it dives specifically into monitor-based AR. You know those online try-on tools, like trying on sunglasses with your webcam?
Oh, yeah.
That's monitor-based AR in action.
Gotcha. So my webcam sees my face, the computer slaps on the virtual sunglasses, and bam, I see myself with a new look on my screen.
Precisely. It's a simple idea, but it shows the core of AR, merging those two worlds, the real and virtual.
All right, so we've got the basics. But the paper goes deeper, looking at AR with Unity 3D. This is where it gets really interesting, especially for the gamers out there. Can you tell us about this combo?
Well, the paper talks about how using Unity 3D with AR can make games even more realistic and immersive. It can pull in those real-world elements. Imagine playing a game and your living room becomes a battlefield, or your coffee table turns into a puzzle.
That's wild.
The possibilities are mind-blowing.
The paper even mentions this cool example, the Anatomy4D app. What's that about?
Oh, yeah. Anatomy4D is a great example of how AR can be used for learning. You can explore human anatomy hands-on, using your own photo as a base, virtually dissect organs, see how everything fits together. It really makes learning come alive.
Wow. No more boring old textbook diagrams. So we've got these incredible AR experiences being created, but I'm guessing there's a lot of complicated tech behind it all. The paper mentions this Qualcomm SDK. What is that exactly, and why is it important?
You think of the Qualcomm SDK like a high-tech toolbox for developers. It has all these pre-built functions and tools that make building AR experiences easier, works across different platforms, supports Unity 3D, and it really streamlines the process. What's cool for users is that it's all about creating those interactive experiences. You're not just watching, you're in it.
That's what makes it so engaging. What are the actual steps to make these AR experiences? What does the paper say about the process?
It's a lot like traditional game development, but there's this extra layer of complexity because you're working with the real world. It all starts with the design, figuring out the experience and how people will use it. Then comes 3D modeling, where you create all the virtual stuff.
So like making a movie, but with this whole extra layer of reality to think about, that must be a lot for developers to juggle.
Oh yeah, and then there's animation to bring the 3D objects to life, adding textures, lighting. It's about creating a real, believable experience.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me in this paper was this idea of image recognition. Seems super important for AR, but also a big challenge. Can you break down what image recognition is and why it matters for AR?
You're absolutely right. Image recognition is at the heart of it all. It's how the AR system figures out what it's looking at through the camera. I bet you've wondered how your phone knows it's looking at a face or a landmarker.
Definitely. It's kind of creepy, but also amazing.
That's image recognition doing its thing. Basically, it's like teaching a computer to see, to identify patterns and shapes, just like we do, but digitally.
That's a great way to put it. But it sounds like getting it right can be tough. What does the paper say about those image recognition challenges?
Well, the paper gets into some pretty specific algorithms, but the main takeaway is that getting image recognition to work perfectly, it's still a work in progress. Accuracy is super important because you want those virtual objects to line up with the real world just right. And then there's speed. For AR to feel really smooth, the system needs to recognize and track things instantly, no lag.
Right. If it's slow or inaccurate, the whole illusion breaks down, especially with those games where virtual characters are running around in your real-world environment.
Exactly. And on top of that, you have all the variations in the real world,
Ah.
like lighting, angles, things moving around. That can really mess with those image recognition algorithms.
So, some serious hurdles to overcome. But, like you said before, the potential of AR is huge. This is where things get really exciting for our listeners because we're talking about a technology that could revolutionize so many parts of our lives.
I totally agree. We've just scratched the surface, and I'm excited to dig deeper into what those potential applications are and what the future holds for AR.
It feels like we're right on the edge of something big with AR,
Eh,
but there are still some challenges we need to figure out.
yeah, definitely. But those challenges also lead to new ideas, new ways of doing things.
Right, like they push people to innovate. So, what could some of those solutions be? What does the research paper suggest for tackling those challenges?
One really promising direction is to like shift from these super complex algorithms to something more data-driven.
Okay,
It's
interesting.
kind of like, teaching a computer to see by just showing it tons and tons of examples.
I see.
Massive data sets of images that help these AR systems learn and adapt to all the different conditions out there.
Ah, so it's similar to how they're using AI in other fields. Feed it a ton of data and it starts to recognize patterns. Do you think this could be the key to more accurate and reliable image recognition for AR?
It's definitely one of the most exciting areas of research happening right now. With all the data we have and how fast machine learning is advancing, yeah, it's a path that holds a lot of promise. But it's not just about the software, right? You got to think about the hardware too.
Of course, because even with amazing algorithms, if your camera or processor can't keep up, the whole experience is going to be clunky.
Exactly. The paper touches on this too, pointing out how advancements in camera tech, processing power, even things like display resolution, are all vital for these really immersive and believable AR experiences.
It's like all these pieces have to come together, the software, hardware, data.
Yeah, like a puzzle. And there's one more piece we can't forget, the user experience.
Oh, right, of course, the human element.
We have to design interfaces that are intuitive, engaging, they don't feel awkward or in the way. AR should make our real-world interactions better, not worse.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in the tech and forget about how people are actually going to be using it. So, taking a step back, where do you see AR heading in the future? What applications are you most excited about?
The paper spends a lot of time on gaming, which, it's easy to see how AR could change that world completely.
Mm.
But there's so much more than just games. Take education, for example.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Imagine students interacting with virtual models of, like, historical artifacts, or going on a virtual field trip to ancient Rome.
It's like those virtual field trips we all dreamed of as kids, but on a whole other level.
Exactly. Visit ancient Rome, explore a volcano, walk on the moon. All from the classroom.
Okay, I'm sold. What else?
How about shopping? Imagine being able to try on clothes virtually, see how furniture would look in your home, all before you even buy it.
No more buyer's remorse.
Exactly. And don't forget about healthcare. We could have AR assisting surgeons during these really complex procedures, giving them real-time guidance. Or think about using AR for rehab with exercises that are customized for each patient.
Wow, that's incredible. It really sounds like AR could change almost every part of our lives. But while we're dreaming about this amazing future, are any of these applications already being used today?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of them are in the early stages, but there's some really cool things happening right now. In medicine, for example, they're already using AR systems to help with planning and even during surgery.
Oh, wow. Really?
Surgeons can overlay these 3D models of the patient's anatomy right onto their body, so they have this much more detailed view during procedures.
So it's like X-ray vision for surgeons.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And in education, we're seeing more and more AR apps that are specifically designed to make learning more engaging and hands-on.
I love that. It's not just a novelty anymore. These are applications that are making a difference. It really shows you the power of this technology and the amazing people working on it.
You're right. And as the technology gets even better, and we figure out these key challenges like image recognition, I think we'll see even more innovative uses of AR popping up in the next few years.
So we've covered a lot today. We've gone from the basics of what AR is to how it works to some of the exciting ways it's being used now and even a glimpse into the future of it all. But before we wrap things up, I want to ask our listeners something. What area of your life do you think AR could have the biggest impact on? And what are you most excited to see happen with this technology?
That's a great question for everyone to think about. While you're pondering that, I'll leave you with this. AR has the potential to change how we interact with the world around us. It's not just about the practical stuff, it's about how we see things, how we experience things. From how we shop and learn to how we navigate and even see art, the possibilities are endless. What are you most excited about?
It really is mind-blowing to think about how AR could change so much about our lives.
What I find fascinating is how AR can impact us beyond just the practical stuff.
Hmm.
It could actually change how we see and interact with the world around us.
I know what you mean. We usually think of the physical world and the digital world as like two separate things, right?
Right.
But AR could blur those lines, creating this blended reality where information and experiences are all mixed in with our surroundings. That's a powerful concept.
It really is. Imagine walking down the street and you have all this personalized information about the buildings or the shops, even the people you pass, all right there in your field of vision. That's the kind of blended reality AR could bring.
Whoa, like having your own personal tour guide and information hub all in one, you'd never get lost, and you'd be learning new things all the time.
Exactly. And think about art. AR could completely change how we create and experience it. We could have virtual sculptures in parks, murals that come to life, even paint with digital light in the real world.
It'd be like stepping into a world where imagination and reality are one. That opens up so many cool possibilities for artists and, well, anyone who sees it. But like we learned, making this happen all comes down to solving those image recognition challenges.
Yeah, that's the key. If these AR systems can truly understand the world around us, then we can have those immersive, personalized experiences.
Mhm.
But, like we've talked about, there's still a lot of work to do.
So what are some of the advancements we need to make AR even better, to reach its full potential? What needs to happen on the image recognition front?
Well, there are a few key areas where some breakthroughs would really make a difference. One is creating algorithms that can handle how messy the real world is. They need to be able to deal with things like lighting changes, weird angles, even objects that are partially hidden.
Yeah, the real world is definitely not always picture perfect. Things aren't always in the ideal spot or perfectly lit for easy recognition.
Exactly. Another big one is speed. For those really smooth AR experiences, image recognition has to happen instantly, with no lag. And that probably means we need improvements in both the software and processing power.
So we need those super fast processors that can handle all those calculations in real time. It's a challenge, but I'm sure the people working on this tech are up for it.
I think so too. And there's also this growing interest in using different sensing technologies, not just traditional cameras.
Oh, like what?
Some researchers are looking at depth sensing cameras. They capture 3D information about the environment, which could give the AR system a much better understanding of what it's seeing.
Oh, I see. So instead of just a flat image, it has this 3D model of the world, making it way easier to identify and track things,
Yeah.
even when they're moving or partially blocked. That could be huge.
It could change everything. And finally, we need to make AR experiences truly user-friendly. That means creating interfaces that are natural to use, so it doesn't feel like a mental workout just to use AR. The technology should make things better, not more complicated.
It's all about finding that balance where technology fits seamlessly into our lives, making things easier, more interesting, and maybe even more fun. It sounds like we have a lot to look forward to.
I think so too. As people keep pushing the limits of what's possible with AR, I have no doubt it's going to become an even bigger part of our lives. It'll be amazing to see what happens.
Well, we've gone on quite a journey in this deep dive. We started with the fundamentals of augmented reality, explored the challenges and opportunities, and even imagined a future where AR changes how we live, learn, work, and play.
It's been fun chatting about all of this with you. As you go about your day, keep an eye out for AR. You might be surprised by how much it's already around us.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to create that next groundbreaking AR experience. That's all for our deep dive into augmented reality. Until next time, keep exploring and never stop learning.